It turns out that cleaning up the air doesn't just clear your lungs, it may also help protect your mind. In recent years, a growing body of research has begun to uncover a powerful connection between environmental policy, air quality improvements, and better brain health outcomes in older adults. And for once, the news isn't all doom and smog. There's cautious optimism. When air pollution levels drop, so do rates of cognitive decline and dementia. In other words, cleaner air may actually slow down the aging of the brain, not in theory, but in measurable, population-wide data. This isn't wishful thinking. Longitudinal studies tracking urban populations across decades have found that reductions in fine particulate matter, PM2.5, and nitrogen dioxide, and O2, primarily from traffic and industrial emissions, are associated with slower rates of cognitive deterioration and a lower incidence of Alzheimer's disease in aging communities. Cities that implemented stricter environmental regulations, improved vehicle emission standards, or closed coal-fired power plants didn't just get prettier skylines, they got healthier brains. One of the most striking studies, conducted by researchers at the University of Southern California and published in PNAS, tracked thousands of older women over 10 years across different U.S. cities. The study found that women living in areas where PM2.5 levels declined the most over time had significantly slower rates of cognitive aging than those in more polluted areas. In some cases, their cognitive trajectories looked years younger than their chronological age, just by virtue of breathing cleaner air. That's not some marginal benefit. That's the neurological equivalent of a time machine. Another study based in Canada followed a similar pattern. After the implementation of air quality regulations in major urban centers, dementia diagnosis rates among the elderly began to plateau, or even decline. These weren't subtle changes. In cities with aggressive air cleanup efforts, the difference was visible in hospital records, insurance claims, and even death certificates. Cleaner air wasn't just making people feel better, it was literally helping them stay sharper longer. So, what's behind this brain boost? It comes down to the biological assault that pollution wages on the nervous system. Fine particles and NO2, when inhaled over time, spark systemic inflammation, oxidative stress, and vascular damage, all of which contribute to neurodegeneration. But when those pollutants are reduced, when cities ban high-emission vehicles, enforce industrial standards, or increase green spaces, the exposure declines, and the inflammatory cascade quiets down. The brain, like any organ, responds. It stops fighting a daily battle, and cognitive function stabilizes. This isn't just about dementia, either. Slower cognitive aging means better memory, less brain fog, and greater independence for longer. It also means lower healthcare costs, fewer caregiver burdens, and a population more capable of contributing meaningfully to society well into old age. Cleaner air is not just an environmental goal, it's a cognitive investment. Yet the gains aren't equally distributed. Wealthier neighborhoods, which already had lower pollution exposure to begin with, tend to benefit faster and more completely from environmental reforms. Meanwhile, communities near highways, ports, and industrial zones often continue to suffer from residual exposure, or worse, become the dumping grounds for displaced pollution sources. In some cases, new clean air projects in one area have simply pushed pollutants into poorer neighborhoods under the radar. So while the overall trend is positive, the inequality in who gets to age with their mind intact remains deeply troubling. Still, these findings carry an important and hopeful message for public health. Environmental policy is brain policy. Decisions about traffic, zoning, public transit, and emissions aren't just about climate or respiratory illness. They're about dementia prevention, cognitive resilience, and long-term neurological well-being. Clean air campaigns aren't just about saving the planet. They're about saving people's minds, one breath at a time. The idea that something as massive and diffuse as air pollution could influence the individual risk of Alzheimer's may seem abstract. But these studies make it concrete. Every microgram per cubic meter reduction in PM2.5 may translate to thousands fewer cases of dementia each year. In the long game of aging, cleaner air doesn't just add years to your life, it adds clarity to those years. So yes, cleaner air may very well delay cognitive aging. Not with a magic pill or high-tech device, but through policies that treat the air as what it truly is, a vital, shared resource that shapes not just the health of our bodies, but the fate of our minds. And for once, this isn't just theory. It's already happening, just not fast enough.